Hello and welcome to Awesome Bundesliga Matchday 16. And after the Christmas break, very short, this season again in the Bundesliga, we are back with Ronan Murphy. Hello, Ronan. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all of our viewers and followers around the world. I hope everyone had a nice festive season, holiday season, whatever you call it in your part of the world. So let's get back into some football.
Exactly, some football, and we start with a very good game, Dortmund-Leverkusen. Remember, Bayern Munich 4 points ahead of Leverkusen, so very interesting. The Bundesliga, so guys, stay with us, of course. Press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. Well, Ronan, and the year starts with a massive game in Germany. Is Dortmund-Leverkusen. Last season, Leverkusen couldn't beat Dortmund in both games. We saw draws in both games, but this season we expect, I guess, a lot of goals. The bookies cannot decide who is the favorite. Leverkusen is slightly favorite, we can say 2.5, but the odds are very high. We left Leverkusen on a high, beating Freiburg 5-1 with 8 consecutive wins in all competitions, and we left Dortmund beating Wolfsburg away after 4 winless games.
Yeah, this is the one that the bookies are kind of finding it difficult to predict who will win. And I think that's what the rest of us are probably agreeing with, because it looks like one that is hard to predict and hard to find value in either team winning, because it wouldn't be a shock for a Borussia Dortmund win. It wouldn't be a shock for a Bayer Leverkusen win, but a draw wouldn't be a shock either. So yeah, it's one of those matches. But luckily we have some great games to get us restarted in the Bundesliga this weekend. The fixture calendar has been very appealing for the first week back, so it should be plenty of entertainment, and hopefully it kicks off with plenty of entertainment in this one. But like you said, both matches last season were draws, but 1-1 draws. So there could be value to be had, a little bit of value in both teams to score, yes, because these teams are teams that like scoring. Both teams score, yes. 1.51, it's not magnificent, so you probably have to look to maybe to individual markets, or you have to combine that with something else. And Borussia Dortmund, they will be without Patrick Gross for this one because he's suspended. Borussia Dortmund have the most red cards in the Bundesliga, so they're topping one table in the Bundesliga this season. And Leverkusen, they've brought in a new player during the winter break, the January transfer window so far. 𝐜𝐭𝐴𝐵 from Bella Sarsfield. That's a new forward. It's kind of gone under the radar maybe a little bit, that signing. I wouldn't expect to see him too soon, but he's been compared to Raúl by the Bundesliga site, so Spanish fans might be interested to see how he gets on, if he can live up to that kind of billing. But yeah, Xabi Alonso, he'll be kind of wondering who to play up front in this one, because Victor Boniface is back fit. So is he going to drop Patrick Schick? Because Schick has been in brilliant form in that match against Freiburg that you mentioned. He scored 4 goals, so will he start up front? And I think he should, because he's kind of shown that he has come in. He's scored plenty of goals. He's in the top scorer race himself, never mind anybody else. So Patrick Schick as an anytime goal scorer could be a good option. 3.10. Keep an eye on if he just the kind of what Xabi Alonso says near the game, if he says that he's likely to start him up front, because that looks really good for someone playing against Borussia Dortmund, who tend to concede lots of goals. So, like I said, both teams to score, yes, is a good option. Dortmund have had both teams to score, yes, in each of their last 5 games. Another one that maybe not great value, but if you'd like to look up Leverkusen more, Leverkusen double chance is 150 here. But I like the idea of combining both teams to score with a high scoring match here. There's been over 2.5 goals in 70% of Dortmund's games and 63% of Leverkusen's games. So both teams to score, yes, and over 2.5 total goals in this match is probably the best option here for me at 171.
We saw it last season again with high scoring draws. We should see a lot of goals. It's very packed, this Champions League, the Champions League spots in the Bundesliga. Borussia Dortmund now are 6th, only 2 points away from the 3rd, Eintracht Frankfurt, but from the 3rd, Frankfurt, to the 10th, Stuttgart, there are only 4 points. So very, very interesting, this game and the Champions League fights. Let's go to the next game. Freiburg Kiel. Freiburg only 1 point away from Europe, is one of these teams fighting to get in European spots. Lost to Leverkusen 5-1, but beat Wolfsburg before that 3-2. Is only one defeat at home this season against a newly promoted team like Pauli and Kiel. Ronan surprised us with a massive win, 5-1 against Augsburg before the break.
Yeah, these are two teams that are kind of a bit inconsistent. Like you said, the win over Wolfsburg and the loss to Leverkusen for Freiburg. Before that was a draw with Hoffenheim. So in their last 3 games, they've had every single possible result. And like you said as well, most of their bad results have been away. Freiburg are 5th in the home table, so they're pretty good at home. They're undefeated in the last 5 home games. They've scored 3 goals in both of the last 2 games. But Kiel are also a team that tend to score goals on the road too. They've had both teams to score yes in each of their last 3 away games, but they haven't won away in a long time. It's the last win on the road is the 17th of August, and that was against Alemannia Aachen in the Cup. And this is a team that have been struggling on the road, but I don't think that Freiburg to win here is a good value at all. It's really low 140s. You're kind of looking at for Freiburg to win, so you have to look elsewhere for a bit of variety in there. Kiel have picked up away draws with Leverkusen and Bochum. They haven't been totally diabolical on the road, and defeats to Hoffenheim, Stuttgart and Bremen in their away games. They're only by 1 goal in those ones. So they tend to keep the matches tight, even though they do lose some matches on the road. So correct score 2-1 could be an option here. I love a good correct score. That's 2-1 for Freiburg to win. That's 875. But I think with the way Kiel kind of play and to keep matches close, I think there might be good value in an Asian handicap bet for Kiel to lose, but to keep it pretty close. Kiel Asian handicap plus 1.25 is 2.03.
Well, now they are only 2 points away from Heidenheim. Next game we are going to analyze is Heidenheim Union Berlin. Both teams in really bad form. Heidenheim lost to Bochum. The first win for Bochum this season came in the last game of the year. They are kind of desperate. It's 7 consecutive defeats in the Bundesliga, winless since September, and Union Berlin lost to Bremen 4-1 and is only 1 point in the last 5 games. So it's very difficult to back any of these teams.
Yeah, it is. Union Berlin, they've only been boosted. Perhaps been boosted by the change of coach during the winter break. If you haven't been paying too close attention to Bundesliga because there wasn't any matches on, you might have missed the fact that Steffen Baumgart is back in the Bundesliga. He's the former Cologne coach who's famous for wearing those flat caps, and he was also had a viral video a couple of seasons ago when he was banned from the stadium and he was at home and he was celebrating or getting angry with his dog on the sofa at one of the Cologne matches. So yeah, he is a man that will bleed for the club, because anytime you see him on the touchline, he wears everything that's club branded. So Union Berlin's club store, they've received a boost by appointing him, but let's see if the team receive a boost too, because yeah, he's the most branded man in football. But yeah, Heidenheim, they've made a couple of additions themselves that I like. Franz Kratzig has come in on loan from Bayern. Bayern recalled him from Stuttgart because he wasn't getting enough games there, so they've sent him to Heidenheim, where Paul Vanner has already been this season, and Vanner has been excellent for Heidenheim, so they're hoping they can do the same with Kratzig. But a really interesting one is Heidenheim has signed the top scorer in the second Bundesliga, 𝗀𝗲𝗄𝐻, from the striker from Karlsruhe, and he has 12 goals in 17 league games in the second division so far this season. But I think he could be one to watch for the rest of the season, because he's predicted to start immediately for Heidenheim up front, and that kind of really intrigues me as an anytime goal scorer bet. But not even that, maybe he would have the dream debut in the Bundesliga at 9 are the odds for him to score first in this game, but 4.33 for an anytime goal scorer, which is pretty good odds for any Heidenheim forward, because this is a team that do like to score goals. Union Berlin, as we know, are a team that don't like to concede goals, but if there is someone to score, it seems like he is the most likely one, and 4.33 doesn't look like too bad odds for that, especially if he is going to start and make his debut for Heidenheim this weekend. So it could be a good option there. It was a 1-0 to Heidenheim in this match last season. 5 of the last 6 games between these two sides have been 3 total goals or fewer. So total goals under 2.5 is a decent option here at 184. But Union Berlin on the road this season, they've only one away win, and that was against Kiel. They've lost their last 5 away games in all competitions. So I do like the look of Heidenheim draw no bet at 225.
The Bundesliga official website is publishing an article, 𝗔𝗲𝗍𝗂 Heidenheim's new dream duo. Could be, let's see.
yeah, one up front and one in defence, so I'm not sure how much of a duo it is.
Well, let's see if Heidenheim, after a great season last year, they've been affected by playing in Europe and they are struggling. Now they signed this Georgian striker. Next game is Hoffenheim. Wolfsburg. Hoffenheim is only 4 points away from the bottom 3, lost to Gladbach, 4 winless games in the Bundesliga. Wolfsburg lost to Dortmund and Freiburg before the break, but they were in a good run before those games, and they are the underdog, I would say, even surprisingly, for this game.
I would say I would totally agree with you there. It's surprising to see when I saw Wolfsburg win with somewhere around 3. I was very surprised by that because Hoffenheim are a team that have struggled to score goals this season. The coaches have obviously talked about it. 𝗷𝗏𝗏 wasn't living up to maybe the expectations. The new role wasn't suiting him too well, but they have made an attacking signing during the January transfer window. 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 comes in from Lyon. He looked brilliant with Ghent in Belgium before he moved to Lyon, but at Lyon it didn't really work out for him, and he's not really a man that's in form. Unlike say 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀, who we mentioned in the last game, you expect him maybe to hit the ground running, but it might take a while for 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 to get up to speed. The only thing is the predicted lineup seems to have every possible Hoffenheim attacker starting this match. It's predicting the 4-2-3-1 with Orban in attack, and then behind him 𝗷𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏, Hlozek and Bischoff all playing. So that should hopefully lead to some goals in this one, but I'm not sure. It might take a bit of a while for them to gel and get used to each other, especially with a new striker and how he plays. So we'll see how that goes. A new striker who hasn't been scoring goals, I must say, yet. To see how that goes. So Hoffenheim have had 3 draws in the last 4 games, which sounds better than no wins in their last 7 games. But yeah, they have not been on a good run at the moment, whereas Wolfsburg's away form is pretty good. They've had 3 wins in their last 5 games, including a 5-1 win over Leipzig. They've only lost 2 away games all season in all competitions, and one of those was a 4-3 thriller against Leverkusen, which could have went either way. So yeah, Wolfsburg win, like I said, it's a pretty good bet if you're confident enough in them at 3, but maybe a bit safer than that would be Wolfsburg Asian handicap 0 at 221.
All right, next one is Mainz Bochum. As I said before, the first win of the season for Bochum came in the last game of the year against Heidenheim. Now they are only 4 points away from Heidenheim, so there is still some hope, but it's going to be difficult because Mainz are doing an amazing season. They are 5th in the standings. They beat Frankfurt playing with 10 men. That was a massive surprise, and it's 5 wins in the last 6 games for Mainz, Ronan.
Yeah, they've been very good on the road, especially. They've scored 3 goals in 6 different away games this season, the most of any team in Euro's Big 5, but they've done it once so far this season, so they'll be looking to maybe do it again at home. They've only done it once so far this season at home, and that's against Borussia Dortmund, surprisingly. So they will be hoping to get some goals and score plenty of goals here. The last 3 home games in the league was that 3-1 against Dortmund, a 2-0 against Hoffenheim, and a 2-1 over Bayern. So their home form recently has been splendid. So Mainz win 160 doesn't look too bad. They've scored 2 or more goals in each of their last 4 games with Bochum, so expect goals in this one. Bochum haven't won an away game at all this season in any competition, so Bochum are dead last in the away table and dead last in away form. They've lost all but 1 of their away games, even in the cup. Only 1 draw this season away, so they are not a good team on the road. They're not a good team in general, so yeah, Mainz should kind of rack up the goals here. Bochum have conceded 2 or more goals in 6 different away games this season, including 7 goals in the game against Frankfurt they shipped. So Mainz over 2 goals is my favourite bet in this match, 2.05. But obviously, if they score exactly 2, make sure that you're getting your money back for that one.
Well, super favorite. Mainz. Next one is Pauli, Frankfurt. Here we have good odds, I would say, to back Frankfurt, but they are in bad form, or they were before the break. 4 defeats and 1 draw in the last 5 games in all competitions. Pauli, they surprised us again, Ronan, with a win in Stuttgart to move 4 points away from the bottom 3 right now.
Yeah, their away form looks a bit better than their home form this season, and they've only actually scored in 1 home game this season, and that was the 3-1 win over Kiel, and they haven't scored in any other matches. The 6 matches they played at home without scoring in, so maybe this could be a 7th if Frankfurt hopefully can turn things around, because Frankfurt, they are scoring goals themselves. They've averaged 2.3 goals per game, so they would be hoping that they can get plenty of goals here again. And St. Pauli, they've made a good few signings already in January, and I think that could affect the team slightly, because sometimes what you see is that teams get promoted to the Bundesliga, make too many signings, and that kind of has problems with the continuity of the team, and it becomes a bit disjointed. But St. Pauli have been doing pretty well this season, considering obviously overall they're not doing well, but relative to the expectations, the kind of money they have, the amount, the wages they pay, the transfer fees they pay, they have been doing well to kind of keep out of the relegation zone. But I think adding 3 new players already in January could be a problem, because where are these guys going to fit in, how it's going to work with the players that are already there, and we'll see how they get on with these new players. And I think that could kind of unsettle them. And we also have to look at speaking of being unsettled, is Omar Marmoush of Frankfurt going to be unsettled by the transfer rumours that are around him at the moment? Frankfurt have obviously denied that any team has made an official approach or any sort of approach for him, but the rumours just seem to grow and grow, and it is January, so we will hear nothing but transfer rumours for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And he is one of the top strikers in Europe at the moment, so it's no surprise that he will be kind of under pressure. We saw at the weekend what happened with Trent Alexander-Arnold against Manchester United, the rumours around him and the performance he put in. But I think Marmoush is maybe a kind of a different sort of player, and he's a striker, so if you have a bad day, it probably doesn't look as bad as if you have a bad day as a defender. But I'm still, knowing Omar Marmoush and the kind of type of player he is, the kind of accuracy he has from set pieces, I think he's still a good option. He's always seems to be a good option as an anytime goal scorer, so I'm going to go for that one again. Omar Marmoush, anytime scorer, 260. Obviously, it's no transfer happens between now and Saturday, but yeah, Omar Marmoush is always a good option to go for. But like you said, it's Frankfurt to win against St. Pauli, one of the worst teams in the league. It's looking too good for me at 210. It's hard to turn down that one.
Well, they are still the 3rd team in the Bundesliga with a bad run, but they have to react. 13 goals for the Egyptian. Omar Marmoush also involved in transfer rumors as his colleague Mohamed Salah, also from Egypt. And the best game on Saturday is Gladbach. Bayern Munich, historically, Bayern Munich suffered a lot in this pitch, and with Gladbach in general, we left Bayern thrashing Leipzig 5-1 after the defeat against Mainz, and we left Gladbach beating Hoffenheim and Kiel in the last 2 games. It's only 1 defeat in the last 9 Bundesliga games, so this is a tough game for Bayern Munich, and the price to back them is quite low, as we expect. Ronan is only 1.4, so probably it's better to look at other markets.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to back Bayern Munich in most games because they're usually the favourite, but when they're a favourite against a team that you wouldn't be surprised if they lost to, you wouldn't be surprised if it was 5-1 for Bayern Munich, but you also wouldn't be surprised if Gladbach came away with a 2-1 win either. So in games like that, it's best to steer clear of any kind of bet on Bayern Munich to win, because it could be a frustrating afternoon for them, but they still could come away with the win, as Bayern Munich tend to do. But in the past 8 years, Borussia Mönchengladbach actually have a better record against Bayern Munich. 7 wins to Bayern's 6 with 2 draws. And the last 5 games between the two sides, there's 2 wins each and a draw. So these are teams that are usually quite evenly matched. Those last 5 games have all been both teams to score, yes. So Both teams to score yes is a good one again here. The most common result is 1-1. Both teams to score yes. It's slightly higher than some of the other matches we mentioned earlier, 155, which doesn't look too bad, so that could be pretty good. Harry Kane is back for Bayern Munich. 𝗵𝗵𝗏 should be back in midfield as well, and both of those scored in the 3-1 win that Bayern Munich had over Gladbach in February. So Harry Kane, anytime goal scorer, always worth looking at, like Omar Marmoush too, 173. 𝗵𝗵𝗏 as well, if you want to think that lightning can strike twice for him. He rarely scores, but 750 for him. But it might be best looking somewhere else perhaps, and that's why I'm looking at kind of total goals market. I think is where the value could be had here. Total goals over 3.5 in this one is 195, but I think if you want to play it a bit safer than that, maybe over 1.5 goals at half-time has happened in 50% of Bayern Munich's matches so far, 41% of Borussia Mönchengladbach, so it's pretty likely to happen again here. First half total goals over 1.5, it's 197.
Well, tricky game, this one for Bayern Munich. And we have two games on Sunday. Leipzig-Werder Bremen is the first one. Harsh defeat for Leipzig to end the year. 5-1, as we said, against Bayern. Is only 2 wins in the last 7 Bundesliga games for RB Leipzig. Werder Bremen, they are 7th and only 2 points away from the Champions League spots, and in good form, 3 consecutive wins for them.
Yeah, and Leipzig have been kind of boosted a bit this week by Xavi Simons coming back in training. I'm not sure he's going to be fit for this one, obviously, but David Raum has been fit as well. So keep an eye on maybe what the coach Marco Rose has to say about the fitness of those 2 players, because both of those back could be huge boosts for RB Leipzig. Xavi Simons is one of the most creative players in the Bundesliga. The team kind of fell apart for a few weeks without him after he got injured. They refound their form a bit, but they're a totally different team when he's on the pitch. He's just a difference maker, the same way as a 𝗷𝗏𝗏𝗍 or a Florian Wirtz are for their respective teams. So if he is fit when he comes back, expect a different sort of Leipzig, a much improved Leipzig, as long as he is back to his best, obviously, after his injury. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Benjamin Henrichs is out for the rest of the season. Achilles injury for him, so he's ruled out for the rest of the season. So Leipzig are looking in the transfer window at the moment for new additions. So, yeah, new players could come in for Leipzig and strengthen them and give them a much better chance of keeping the pressure on the teams at the top of the table. So, yeah, Leipzig, do not underestimate them with Simons coming back and some new signings to be made in this month. But Bremen, they've made a signing of themselves already. 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 𝗀𝗏 has come in from Man City on loan. He spent the first half of the season in Benfica and the Portuguese league, but only played 10 minutes there, and he was taken off against Bayern Munich at half-time in the Champions League. So I'm not sure if he's going to be a huge difference maker for them, despite coming from Man City. So yeah, I wouldn't expect him to start immediately, but keep an eye on if he can kind of find his form or refined his potential at Bremen. But yeah, this is a match where Leipzig should be hoping to win, but in the past it has been a pretty close game. The last 3 meetings have been all draws, and the 3 games before that were 2-1 wins. Each of them were 2-1 wins to Leipzig, so under 3 goals could be an option in this one. It's 2.05. But Bremen, I think they're on good form at the moment. They're 5 games undefeated, wins in the last 4. I think the value here for me is Bremen with an Asian handicap. That'll keep things close. Bremen Asian handicap plus 3/4, plus 70.75 at 196.
All right, perhaps a draw. Leipzig struggling against Werder Bremen, for instance. And the last game is Augsburg-Stuttgart, with Augsburg 6 points away from the bottom 3 after losing to Kiel and Leverkusen in the last 2 games. But remember that they are always strong when they are playing at home. And Stuttgart, they are having a tough season after shining last year, but they are only 4 points away from the Champions League spots, even if they lost that game surprisingly to St. Pauli 0-1 in the last home game.
Yeah, this is one you would fancy Stuttgart to win on the road here. Augsburg no wins in the last 3 games in the Bundesliga, including a 5-1 defeat to Kiel before Christmas. So yeah, not great. And the last meetings between the sides, Stuttgart have 4 wins in the last 5 meetings, 8 wins versus 2 in the last 8 years. So yeah, Stuttgart usually have the upper hand in this fixture, and Stuttgart are a team who are scoring lots of goals at the moment. They have scored 3 goals in each of their last 2 games and had a 2-2 draw with Werder Bremen before that. They're still in the Champions League. Obviously, they still are in contention. They're only a point behind the playoffs. So they'll have one eye on the match with Slovan Bratislava away in a couple of weeks' time, finish off with PSG at home. But you would hope a win against Slovan Bratislava may be enough to get them to qualify for playoffs. And then they can kind of focus a bit better on the Bundesliga as well. So, yeah, this is a match where Stuttgart should be confident they can take all 3 points. The most common result is 2-1 to Stuttgart. Average goals per team so far this season is 1.1 for Augsburg, 1.9 for Stuttgart. And if you're a fan of rounded numbers, that's 1 versus 2. So the correct score, 1-2, is 9. So if you want to go for another 2-1 for Stuttgart, yeah, Stuttgart to win at 2-11 doesn't look too bad at the moment. But I'm going to combine that with Stuttgart to win and over 1.5 total goals at 2.40. Looks great value.
All right. Well, remember, of course, that even in 2025 is a new opportunity to participate in our tipster competitions. And we have, for instance, a yearly one. So now it's completely reset and you can start from scratch. So it's a good idea to try to get and earn some money in this new year with your tips. Well, Ronan, let's give the last tips, your safe bet for this match day.
My first safe bet of the year is Frankfurt, Asian handicap plus 0.5 at 130.
Okay, double chance for Frankfurt. And your ACCA?
My ACCA is Heidenheim, Asian handicap 0, and Wolfsburg, Asian handicap 0, which are both pretty high. So that gives a total of 5.11.
Well, good luck. Then for everyone, thanks, Ronan. Let's try to enjoy this new year in the Bundesliga. Bye-bye.